Whether you know them as knights, chevalier, cataphracts, mamelukes, samurai, every society has had the heavily mounted warrior, and in Pathfinder that's no different. We have the Cavalier, and we are going to be taking a look at the first edition version of the Cavalier today. So, join us friends, let's get started. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire, here to begin talking about the first edition Pathfinder Cavalier. Yes, the classic knight, or as the title card shows, the classic game knight. Pardon me my lame dad jokes and puns, but we are going to be taking a look at what is generally going to be a good guide for you to go over. It's a reasonably effective build that we're doing here, but just bear in mind that, as with any guide, this guide is meant to be taken with just a pinch of salt. Just think of this as more as a general guide, nothing for you to live by set in stone, nothing hard, nothing permanent. Go by whatever character build you feel is going to be fun for you. That's the number one thing. Have fun. But with that preamble out of the way, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit that subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and joined such a legendary roster of incredible heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now, let's take a look at what you want to do to get started on building your Cavalier. And to begin with, we have to pick out what your starting race is going to be. And as always, much as I have been trying lately to avoid listing them with as much regularity, humans just make a fantastic Cavalier. You get a +2 bonus to any one stat that you select, an extra feat, an extra skill point at first level and every level. And as your favorite class bonus, you get +1 every 4 levels of a banner bonus. So the bonus that your banner class ability provides goes up by 1 point for every 4 levels that you have. And that's pretty significant because, as we'll cover in class abilities later on, your banner bonus gives quite a bit of a benefit to your allies. So definitely a great one to have. The next option is Half Elf, which is another +2 to any stat. You get to be immune to sleep effects and get a +2 save versus enchantment effects. And if you take Dual Minded to replace adaptability, which just gives you the skill focus feat for free, you get to take a +2 to your will saves, and you also get a +2 racial bonus to your perception skill, low light vision, and being a half-elf, you can take your human parent's favorite class bonus, so you can get that banner bonus overall. So definitely a worthwhile pick for you to make. The next one is an interesting choice, and it's the Halfling. Now, you may look around here and think, oh, the Halfling gets some things that are useful. +2 to Dex isn't terrible, and to your Charisma, which is good, a -2 penalty to your Strength. You do take a 20-foot speed penalty, but that's negated quite a bit by the mount that you get to ride. A +1 size bonus to your AC, your attack rolls, a -1 size penalty to your combat maneuver bonus and defense, a +4 size bonus to your stealth skill, a +2 save versus fear, a +1 to all saves, +2 racial bonus to acrobatics, climb, and perception checks. So why did I select a Halfling? Well, the thing is, and this is something that has come up a lot in discussion groups online and guides, and it's something I've thought about as well just over the course of running these games. Mounts don't really fit into a lot of different places. You need a big, wide, open area to accommodate them. So a Halfling, being small, can have a smaller mount and go more places and still have access to all of their abilities. You are taking a penalty to the amount of damage that you can do being a Halfling and working with smaller weapons, but you do get a bunch of bonuses in other areas, and the fact that you can go in and still have access to the full suite of your abilities, all your teamwork feats, and the fact that you have a mount and you can teach your mount various different tricks and combat tricks and the like. those are going to be very important for you, and this opens up a lot of options, particularly if your DM allows you to get more unusual amounts, like say a small-sized jumping spider. That would yield some really interesting results there. But we must move on. For now, we have to talk about your stats. Now, this stat array here, this assumes you have a 25-point buy for your stats. If you're using fewer points or are rolling for stats, then you're going to follow this general order here. And for this, I'd only spent about 24, but I couldn't really decide what I wanted to subtract down in order to put points elsewhere to try to boost any of these other stats. But ideally, you want to focus on your strength, your constitution, because you are a combat class, and also your charisma. Your charisma will fuel not only a lot of class abilities, you do get a good selection of skills for being a face, such as bluff, diplomacy, sense motive, but this will fuel some other things that are coming down the line for you. And of course, constitution, you want extra hit points. Wisdom will help with your will saving throws and some of your skills, as will dex and as will intelligence. Although you get 4 skill points every level, and if you're a human, you're getting an extra one. Throwing in another one for a total of 6 or possibly 5 if you're picking out any of the other races is still going to be very helpful for you. You don't have a huge number of skills, but you have useful enough skills that having a couple extra points here and there will be useful and will be helpful. But we do want to focus on strength, because since we are not a class that gets a ton of feats, we want to go with a strength-oriented build, especially since we're going to be using weapons like lances and other such weapons. These tend to be less feat-intensive in order to be effective, and we can use these in conjunction with so many other things with our teamwork feats, yada yada yada. You get the idea. But then, we also now need to go over what traits you want to pick out. So for your traits, we're going to look at carefully hidden if you are human. You get a +1 bonus to will saves and a +2 versus divination spells and effects. This is great because Cavaliers, you don't have great will saves. You got good fortitude saves, but your dexterity and your will saves are not going to be good at all. And then the next option, if you pick out the half-elf, we have Elven Reflexes, which gives you a +2 bonus on initiative, which going higher in the initiative order is fantastic. And since you're on a mount, you're going to be able to close distance pretty fast with a wide variety of different opponents, or at least ideally, assuming you are on a mount. And then lastly, we have Armor Expert, which is just good for any heavy armor build. When you wear any armor, you reduce the check penalty by 1 to a minimum of 0, which is just going to be helpful for you in your day-to-day life. But this is only the start. We've just covered races, stats, and traits. There's so much more to come. We have class abilities, skills, feats, putting all of this together, having equipment, many, many more things coming down the pipe. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below. Did you like these selections? Did you enjoy this video? Or hell, even if you disliked it, go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Hit those like or dislike buttons and we'll engage in discussion down in the comments. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so much for your time. Have yourselves a good night and don't forget to subscribe.